Today, I'll explain you this chapter, Glimpses of the Past. Okay, firstly, before starting the chapter, I'll give a short introduction. And that is actually this lesson gives us a short and precise description of events, okay, that took place in our country from 1757 to 1857. Okay, it endless incidents that led to widespread revolts known as the First War of Independence, and it provides a glimpse of how the British East India Company expanded its power in India, okay, and exploited Indians, how they robbed landlords and farmers of their land, created situations that led to famines, and pushed patriots to launch widespread massacres. Okay, so first of all, see, actually the matrix, okay, this particular scene represents a function that took place in Delhi. Okay, Lata Mangeshkar can be seen singing, okay, ए मेरे वतन के लोगो, okay, alongside her Indira Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri can also be seen. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so now we'll go to the company conquest. Okay, see, from 1757 to 1849. Okay, so conquest means like to control place or people by military force. Okay, and now see, the year 1757 bears the mark of being an important year in Indian history. Okay, the company rule, which was also known as the Company Raj, refers to the rule of British East India Company over parts of the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so the East India Company was a private company owned by stockholders and reporting to the administration in London. The company came to India and set up a few factories at different places. However, the company's beginnings on coastal India offered no clues to what would become of a lengthy presence on the Indian subcontinent. So slowly and gradually they began expanding and extending their dominance in India, and one of the reasons they were able to do so is that they possessed superior weapons. Okay, and secondly, they took advantage of the prevailing disturbed circumstances among the Indian rulers. Okay, the Indian princes were not at peace amongst themselves. Indian princes, however, were short sighted. Okay, so short sighted means lacking imagination or foresight. Okay, so however were short-sighted, which means they only considered immediate benefits but ignored its long-term consequences. Okay, so they took help from the English merchants to be able to defeat their rivals, and this helped the British East India Company in successfully taking over control from the Indian rulers. The British adopted the divide and rule policy, and amongst all the short-sighted Indian rulers, there was one ruler of Mysore, and his name was Tipu Sultan, okay, who understood their policy and fought against them till his last moment. The Indians then, however, had varied opinions and reactions. Okay, the first set of people were very happy with the Britishers. Okay, and were also grateful. They were also grateful because they thought peace could finally prevail. Okay, they thought it put an end to war and looting by thugs. And on the other hand, people saw what was actually happening. Okay, so they knew that even if some of the princes were cruel, they were at least of the land. Okay, they had realized that they were now slaves of the Englishmen. Okay, so now comes the British rule from 1765 to 1836. Okay, so in this era, these years led to the rise of widespread myths and taboos. Okay, like untouchability. Okay, and child marriage, inferiority of women. Okay, our own religion leaders taught everyone the idea of untouchability, and untouchability actually refers to the practice of excluding a minority group, okay, by segregating them from the mainstream. by social custom or legal mandate. Okay, now it is outlawed in India, but they were not allowed to come near those who considered themselves superior, not allowed in temples. Okay, and the list of how they were discriminated against and deprived of the basic right goes on and on. Okay, so the religious leaders even preached that people who cross the seas will no longer belong to their religion. Women were considered the root cause of a lot of problems like poverty and other miseries. Okay, this is the reason why teenage girls were forced to marry, thereby leading to child marriage. Okay, which is this is now outlawed in India. Okay, these practices were not only being done, but they were also being promoted. Okay, so the Britishers started looking down upon Indians and initiated brainwashing the rulers against them. They alleged that Indians were not worthy of trust and incapable of honesty. Like, this was a way of making the native slaves and getting control over them. And not only this, the British merchants levied heavy taxes on the poor farmers in greed of immediate profits. Okay, and as a result, the farmers had to give up their lands. If this was not enough, they even threatened the farmers to imprison them if they did not clear the arrears. Okay, arrear means debt. Okay, and they continuously found ways to exploit the people and earn profits. For example, goods manufactured in England were being imported to India, and no import duty was levied on them. The England produce was sold at high prices, whereas the Indian produce was taken away at much less prices. Okay, increasing poverty and the misery of farmers. Not only this, such policies of the British East India Company destroyed the Indian industries. Okay, like small businesses and individual artisans were ruined. Okay, all this resulted in famines or extreme scarcity of food. Okay, and approximately 15 lakh Indians starved to death between 1822 and 1836. Okay, so now let's come to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, 1772 to 1833. Okay, so Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a well-educated man from Bengal. Okay, and he was one of the first to realize that there was something wrong with our country. He was of the belief that Indians must not consider themselves inferior or look down upon themselves. Okay, he believed that our ancient culture was great and the people were destined for greater achievements. Understood? So according to him, the first step was to change the society by abandoning the prevailing superstitions. It was the root cause of all the problems. And once, while having a conversation with his wife, he told her, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Okay, this means that different teachers might have different opinions about the essence of each religion is the same. Okay, and he took keen interest in science and modern knowledge. Okay, and according to him, knowledge should be practical and scientific. He even published newspapers. Okay, but the Britishers stopped out of suspicion. Okay, in 1823, he was inquisitive to know what made the Britishers so powerful, so he crossed the seas and traveled to England, and there he is known to tell Britishers, okay, that we as a nation accept their rule. Okay, he added that they must also accept Indians as subjects and not forget their responsibility and duty toward the subjects. Okay, so Raja Ram Mohan Roy is known for his efforts to abolish the practice of sati and child marriage. Okay, and now let's come to oppression that happened from 1765 to 1835. Okay, so this particular word oppression means prolonged cruel or unjust treatment to the people. Okay, and see, the Britishers continued to find new ways to bring misery and suffering to Indians. Okay, for instance, they passed unfair regulations that kept them at an advantage, like the regulation 3 in 1818, under which an Indian could be jailed without a proper trial in the court. Okay, and as they continued to suppress Indians, they created all sorts of favorable circumstances to offset their officers. The British officers drew huge amounts of salaries and could deepen their pockets by making a fortune out of their private businesses. And the Britishers were exporting goods in huge quantities from Britain. Okay, but by 1829, they were importing goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. And as a result, the Britishers grew richer and richer, leaving the Indian industries high and dry. Okay, so the Governor General Bentinck had conveyed to Britain that, like, the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. Okay, like, to highlight the plights and misery of the traditional cotton weavers in India, this means that the cotton weavers were forced to starve because of the cotton mills set up by the Britishers. Okay, so they produced much cheaper cloth with the help of machines that led the traditional Indian handicrafts to extinction. Okay, so now comes dissatisfaction from 1835 to 56. Okay, so here, back then all the teachings were in the form of Persian and Sanskrit. Okay, so in 1835 a British officer named Macaulay suggested that they must translate all of it in English so that the education is delivered in their language. Okay, so they did so to produce clerks to get the unimportant clerical tasks, okay, and administrative duties like answering the phone, typing documents, filing and liaising with clients done. In the process of doing so, they manufactured a whole new generation of masterminds who wanted to uplift their brothers too by educating them. Okay, they wanted to strengthen their financial prospects that could lead to a promising future, but they needed to, like, convey this to the British Parliament. And Britishers, on the other hand, could not care less about the needs of the Indian people. Okay, and by this time, like, Indian people had become more worried. The kings were now being treated as puppets. They had lost their old jobs and land. Okay, and Britishers were forcing some of them to change their religion. Indians were tired of talking and wanted to do something. Okay, so by 1856 the Britishers had acquired all parts of India. They had conquered the all parts of India. Okay, so now starts the sparks from 1855 to 57. Okay, so the ever increasing taxes, like, levied on the peasants, okay, continue to pressurize them and worsen their financial situation. The Santals in Bengal became disheartened and hopeless after they lost their land to the Britishers, okay, under the new land rules. In 1855, they launched a rebellion and massacred Europeans and all those who supported them. The people working under the East India Company were highly dissatisfied. Okay, the fact that they gave Englishmen good pay, mansions, and other help, while they gave Indians only inadequate pay and slow promotions. Okay, further agitated Indians. They felt bad that the Britishers urged them to move out of their land to cross the sea and work for them, okay, which was even against their religion. They were, motivated to drive the Britishers out. And Indian soldier serving under British or European orders, he was named Mangal Pandey. Okay, he's very famous, and he even attacked the adjutant of his regiment, okay, but he was executed. I mean, adjutant means head. Okay, so around thousands of other sepoys like Mangal Pandey took violent action against the British, but were only rubbed out of the uniform in turn to make the sepoys feel humiliated. Okay, so some of the Englishmen even began to understand, like, how Indians thought, how their mind works, okay, and their customs. Okay, and they told Brahmin soldiers that the bullet they were supposed to bite is covered with grease that is made of cow and pig fat. And next, like, chapatis were being sent to each home in every village, conveying that their services could be required to fight the Englishmen. Okay, and people also agreed. Okay, and lotus flowers were circulated among the Indian soldiers. The nation stood against them with the support of the masses, okay, in the form of shelter and other help to the patriots. Okay, so now we come to revolt that happened in 1857. Okay, so here, see, the urge to, like, free the nation of the Britishers continued to grow. Okay, like, the people wanted to free the nations from the Britishers. Okay, the urge to free the nation of the Britishers continued to grow. And the city of Meerut also experienced a violent outbreak. The sepoys marched and moved to Delhi to support the emperors like Bahadur Shah. The revolt continued to spread and grow. They even got the support of the landlords, okay, that had also, like, lost their land due to the new land rules, and people were angry and wanted to fight the Britishers. Okay, so now we come to the fight for freedom that happened in 1857. Okay, So here, like, many former rulers were bitter too because the Englishmen had taken control of their kingdoms. Leaders like Maulvi Ahmedullah of Faridabad, he motivated people to flee the country of all the Englishmen. People of Bareilly, Kanpur and Allahabad rose forward too, okay? And former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow joined them because her kingdom had been taken away by the British, thereby strengthening their power. Entire North India came together in large numbers to fight a pitched battle against the Britishers, and in the light of this, Azimullah Khan expressed his thoughts to Tatia Tope that they should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as a leader, okay, in this war of independence against the English, okay. So in this revolt against the British, 8-year-old like Kuwar Singh of Bihar was hit by a bullet in the wrist, which he dedicated to Mother Ganga as an offering, okay.